Hello and welcome to my first sketchbook tour. This is a Moleskine sketchbook, which I got around 2020, 2021. I don't remember, but I know because there used to be a sort of get a vaccine type sticker here, and we also have this lovely wear a mask sticker to place us in the timeline where I bought this sketchbook. However, I did start it in February 18, 2025. I think this was just an expensive sketchbook for me, so there was just a lot of fear when it came to making anything on it. So when I actually started it, I had been working on one of these Muji sketchbooks, not this one specifically, but one just like this one where the pages are quite smooth and thin in comparison to this one. This is a $4 sketchbook. I believe these run for around $30. Not quite sure. This was the first one I bought and the last one. Yeah. We start here. I didn't draw on this page because it was a little bit uncomfortable. And then also, I'm not quite sure if you can see that my lines for this little pattern are a little bit hatchy. Like I mentioned, I was working on the Muji sketchbook, which has very smooth pages, which this does not have. So immediately I started out and I was like, I don't like this. I did a few little flower drawings, again, trying to be more so comfortable with how much grip the page had to what I was used to. I will say the biggest development from this page is definitely I did a few little flower drawings, again, trying to be more so comfortable with how much grip the page had to what I was used to. I will say the biggest development from this page is definitely these little weird markings, which I started implementing a lot into my other sketchbooks. I think at this point in time, this is April 10th, was when I decided that maybe because I was not super used to the thickness of this paper, then I would only use one pen for this sketchbook. I thought that would just give me a little bit more ease and control as to what I could draw. I still like the sketchbook, this page. Don't love this butterfly, but I love her. She's cute. We're in May here. As I said, I was working on another sketchbook while working on this one, but this is like my expensive fancy sketchbook. So I treated this with so much care for a while. Further in, we will see that I stopped caring about it as much. But I really enjoy these first few pages. I love the line work. I'm not a line work illustrator. I'm much more comfortable with shapes and colors. So it was just very interesting to experiment in this way. Here we are, May 21st. I don't really like this spread. I think I was trying to do like a more complete composition for it, but I don't think it works. Like the scale is off. Like, why is she giant in comparison to the person who's near? Still, it was good practice. I think the way that the eye is being led is good. It's just more so, I think the characters needed a little bit more thought, which when it comes to sketchbooking, I am not super thoughtful. I kind of want to go through them quickly. I went through this phase where I wanted to draw a lot of harpies. Was this a successful one? I kind of like it. I just wish that the composition was better. I think this is a little bit too horizontal here. I think if it would have been a little bit more diagonal, it would have made the composition better. But you know, we live and we learn. This sketch, done in June, I quite like it. It's not coherent, I would say. This probably wasn't a moment where I was just like, let me sit and again try my hand at doing a more full page composition. I do enjoy some of the elements, like this little guy. Like, what is up with him? Is he suffering? I'm not sure, but I love him. He's so funny looking. Overall, I think it's a good page. I definitely think this is something that I could take into Photoshop or Procreate and like make a pretty good piece with this. This spread I don't really like. I think I had watched the movie The Monkey. Where's that where it's like there's this toy monkey that can curse you. I think this is like not inspired by that, but it was just in my brain. Monkeys were in my brain. This I could tell that I drew in a hurry, but I quite like, I think, having a bunch of bird cages that are maybe semi-intricate and then having fun birds would be a really good idea for like a full illustration. I could tell that I was rushing through this just by the way that I filled in this right here. Like, I can tell that I was not in a mood to spend a lot of time drawing this page, but again, I can refine this and make it into a pretty cool full illustration. I believe I drew this in my balcony, and I think this is real pot that I have, and the other things are fake. Where did I get these little creatures, which I think are really cute? I feel like I could possibly refine them and make something cute with them. But I don't know, I think it's an okay spread. Do we like it? We love it? I think it's okay. This I enjoy, although some of the decisions that I made are quite comical. There is some cat food being eaten by a cat here in this counter, and I'm thinking of this person is reaching out to get some other sort of cat food or something, but the fact that I drew them stepping on top of the counter is a little ridiculous. Like, who would actually do that? I do really like the cats though. I think they're cute. I think they're fun. This is another spread that I can tell I was drawing in a hurry instead of just thinking about it a little bit more. Horse girl with her horse. I do think this could be a good illustration if I refined it. I like some of the elements like this. What would you call this? Corral? I'm not quite sure what the word for this horsey gate situation is, but I do think this could make for a fun illustration if I refined it. Okay, here I feel that what happened was I drew Oddish, the Pokemon from memory, And I think this is it Larvitar? Baby Tyranitar. I don't know what the baby from Tyranitar is, but like that baby Pokemon. And I think that I just went like off the wall because I was not enjoying how I made them. But I think I just tried to make up other weird Pokemon like this weird lion ghost situation and this punching bug. I actually really like the punching bug. I think it's so cute. It's so funny. I would probably make this into a real thing. I think making maybe like a sticker set of fighting bugs could be potentially quite cute. I have here, I think these are two different images, but that I made on the same day. I like this person doing something with, I don't know if they're tarot cards, magic cards, and their little fun vase. And then there's this person who has some sort of creature atop their door. I feel like I didn't like something here, and I didn't quite finish whatever this was about, because I can't right now tell what the story is, whereas here I think it's a little bit more clear. And I like this. I think the cards ended up inspiring an illustration I did in the future. This is probably top 3 of my favorite spreads in this sketchbook. I'm really happy with this sketch. We see 3 friends sort of in a grassy area next to what I'm assuming is sort of a garden, and then like this little rabbit is coming in. I really enjoy how this came out, especially the compositional element of having it be really busy here but not as busy over here. I'm really fond of this. This is one of the ones where I'm like, I feel like if I refined it, I would probably still like the sketch more than a fully realized version. This, I recall, is from a reference on Pinterest, where I think the reference was maybe just the people, and then I added some of the other elements. I think it's fine. I could have probably pushed maybe more of a story with it, or made the reference not so identical, because I remember the reference and it's like the people are in the same positions and they're probably wearing the same clothes. I didn't use my imagination that much when it came to them. I did add other elements, but I don't think they add anything in terms of storytelling. This image, I really enjoy the composition here. Again, this is one where I could tell that I was rushing a little bit. There's a few little unfinished things. When I was drawing a lot of these, because they are all the same pen, same color, I thought that just trying to make compositions that were interesting and that I would potentially in the future like to refine and make into full illustrations would be enjoyable for me, just because it would give me a sense of progress and would help me get quicker at making this type of work to later be refined. Yeah, I like this one. I think it's nice. Could have been better, but like we live and we learn. Okay, this one's fun. I think I had been playing some sort of isometric game. And I drew these lizards. kind of invading this frog's lair. I'm not quite sure how I came up with this idea, if I'm really, really honest. I do like it. I think it's fun. I think compositionally, I like it. Sure, there's some things that I would refine, but I think what I would like to push even more in something like this, it would be the story. Because I think there's a few elements that are a little bit disparate, like the person pulling the frog or this lion type creature. I also feel like the lizards could be a little bit more menacing, or at least have a bit more movement to it. But overall, I do like this. I like that I also try to add a little bit more texture instead of leaving so much empty space, which I tend to do because, again, I am more of a shape color person, so I don't always know what to do with shapes when they're just lines. This spread, I remember spending quite a lot of time trying to figure it out, and I gave up. I gave up like maybe 1 or 2 hours in. Like, it took me like a long time because I really wanted, like, I was doing an underdrawing with pencil and I just couldn't figure it out. And I remember just being like, maybe I'll just figure it out as I draw with pen, which I don't think happened, but you know, glad that on August 7th I did some drawing. Here, I believe I was trying to add a little bit more dimension with filled shapes. Like I've mentioned, I am more of a shape person than a line work person. I don't think this was successful. I think the limited color palette made it difficult for me to really choose a direction with this, but still I like some of the elements. Like I like the water elements and these little far off grass elements. Probably my least favorite part is these really large black blobs. I think they guide your eye towards them too much, and there's nothing happening there, so not a good choice. This is from a photo I took from one of the gardens in a neighborhood nearby. I really enjoy the amount of texture that I added with pen. I remember this feeling a little bit like a breakthrough for me because it felt like I was using shapes to insinuate or suggest the different types of plants rather than using line. I really like this one. I think this one is fun. I remember this spread from August 14th being a pretty direct lift from a reference image. There were a lot of these weird plants that had these S shapes. I don't think I was quite happy with how I interpreted them in this sort of situation, but I do really enjoy what's happening outside of the river. Like, I love these super tiny shapes to suggest flowers. I don't know, this is like a spread that I like, but I didn't quite figure out one of the main draws from it. This is something that I would like to try again. Like, not necessarily into a full illustration, but like figure it out in a sketchbook format. This I remember quite clearly not wanting to draw. I just didn't have any ideas this day, and sort of drawing this person in a boat, like this lily pad lake. I don't know, I can tell I wasn't trying. And it's fine. Some days you're tired. Sketchbooks are not meant to be perfect. We'll say, did the same thing the next day. Was not feeling super inspired, and I remember this one though. I kind of just hurried through it. And I think the end result is fine. Okay, obviously, very big change from what we've been seeing. I got a Kakimori dip pen with this blue ink for Christmas. Very hard to manage. As you can see, I kept like dripping ink and just making quite a lot of mistakes with it. This first thing I drew, like, it felt so unwieldy and it's so bad. But I do think the ink is so beautiful. I just, first attempt, and it was not successful, which I also had tried another attempt in my Muji sketchbook, but the pages are so thin that immediately, like, it was messed up. So that's why I decided to try it in this sketchbook that has thicker paper. Like, as you can see, it didn't bleed through. This is a little better now. I'm kind of understanding how to not drip so much paint onto the page. So there's still a few little mistakes. Like here, I can tell that I dripped a little paint there, and you know, it's a very hard pen nib to use. Here, I'm still testing it. I obviously threw my previous concept of just using black out the window, and kept trying the pen because this was the only sketchbook at the time that would take this super thick ink. I do enjoy her. I think the posing is really good. But yeah, the rest is a no for me. I kept trying it, kept messing up. It's unfortunate, but that's how we learn. I thought this idea was kind of cute. I can't remember if it was snowing this day, but I actually really like this. I wish I hadn't done this person here, because then this would feel like it could just live on its own. I think it's really cute. The mark making is a little bit amateur, but again, I had no control of that dip pen, but I think it works with this sort of windy snow vibe. Okay, because I let go of my original plan, I was like, well, let me just test some watercolors here. And test them I did. I think I like watercolor a lot now, much more than when I did these. When I did these, I thought they were fine. Now I like them, but these were made with the intention of being tests and not with the intention of actually being anything. So I think there's some cool things, like this little hair shadow here. I don't know if you can see. I think that's cool. But yeah, I did keep practicing with watercolor. This is I used a reference from an illustrator named Carrie Vanderyacht. She has a few watercolors that I thought were funny, so I kind of redid one of them here, to not great success, but I just wanted to maybe see how to layer watercolor a little bit better. And then I drew this character from Earthbound, which I think is so fun. But then I messed up here in the shades because I couldn't quite wait for the paint to dry, and I just kept piling it up and it spread, unfortunately, but really like him. This page is quite messy and I like it, and at the same time I don't. This is in April 6, 2026, so yeah, March, April. I was doing something with acrylic wash on another sketchbook and I didn't want it to go to waste, so here's what I did with it. Do we like it? Let me know. I then did these, I believe these are Posca marker or maybe another marker. I think I got another marker and then the brown is Posca. These are from Pinterest. I think they're fine. Here's another watercolor sketch that I messed up because I could not wait for the eye to dry. And then I bought black Indian ink to try with my Kakimori pen. And yeah, it still was really, really hard to use. I decided then to very quickly get a Sailor ink. I decided to do research actually. And I learned that a lot of the inks that I was using were more acrylic based, which for the Kakimori don't work super well. Though, and these Sailor ones, which are not water resistant, would work better. And I do think they do work better. Like I really like this face, I really like her. I also got this $3 pink watercolor half pan because I didn't have a pink and I decided to test it here. This is when this kind of became just like, let me just test stuff out in this sketchbook. Another Sailor ink drawing with the Kakimori. I really like the first attempt with I like his face. I think it's fun. I did a second attempt that I did not like as much, and I wanted to see how watercolor would affect the ink, and it does affect it pretty severely. I think it's kind of cool, but I don't know how I would use this intentionally. Then I use, this is the Sailor and the Indian ink. I just wanted to have a similar subject side by side to see how I would deal with the different paints. They're fine. Now here I decided that I still wanted to use the black ink, but I was just not going to use the Kakimori pen because the acrylic would get stuck very easily on it. And so I bought these speedball nibs, which are so thick and so satisfying. And I really, this was just a test page, but I was like, oh, I love this. I love this technique. Here I was trying it with the blue. This blue is so pretty. I don't even know if it comes off on camera as pretty as it is, but love this blue. Another little angel here, just trying to figure out how to use the blue even more. I do really like this face. I do like this sphinx. I don't know what this is. Whatever this is, I like. Here, I believe I have a full video of me drawing this, and the mix of watercolor, the blue ink, the speedball nib, it's like me testing a bunch of the things that I had already tested, but like together to make something. Really like this. I think this is the top spread in this sketchbook, but also it's colored, so I'm a little bit biased there, but I do like it. I drew this at a cafe. I think this is the same blue ink, and then this is Posca marker. I think they're fine. Because I really like the blue with watercolor, I wanted to test one of my pens that has a similar blue, but it's a jelly roll, so it is not water resistant. So I tried to do watercolor first and then draw on top and test that. And I think that test was very successful. So I would like to try a full illustration with it. I was trying to draw this person that passed by, but I got distracted and did not finish them. And then because this sketchbook kind of just went off the rails, I was like, well, let me test full-on acrylic wash on it. And I also liked it. Here I tried to use the blue pen, the blue jelly roll, to kind of see what I would get. I don't think that worked well, but I think it's good that I tried. And then here is the last page, which I did completely here on YouTube. I'm really happy with this. It's so funny. Obviously a full year passed doing this, and it's funny to see where I began and then how much experimentation was a part of this sketchbook. And then the fact that I got this in 2020-ish and was too afraid to use it because it was expensive for me, and then ended up using it kind of like my junk test experimental sketchbook. I think that's a fun full circle moment. I really want to do more of these. I don't know if my new sketchbook will be able to take color as well as that, but we shall see. Yeah, that was my sketchbook tour. Thank you so much for sticking around, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.